isn't going as far. Why? Because Democrats want to spend their way out of a pandemic, and it really makes no sense. They're throwing trillions around like it's monopoly money. It's not targeted to those who need it most, but it's on policy items that only appease their base, far left, not even a majority of their party. They're flooding the zone with borrowed money like a credit card with no limit. They've done it with stimulus package early in the year, and it was disguised as a COVID relief package. And now they're getting ready to try the same thing again. Last week, Leader Schumer announced that the Democrats reached an agreement on a budget reconciliation resolution, which is like the pregame warm-up for the next reconciliation package. The price tag for that agreement has been set at $3.5 trillion. Let me take a minute to highlight what I think is wrong with the bill. First of all, I'm not sure how anyone can call this an agreement. One Democrat senator who doesn't appear to have been consulted on the so-called agreement in the first place said the package needs to be fully paid for. So let me translate that to you. That means we need tax increases. Last week we talked about the 30 new tax increases that will probably be in this bill. On the other hand, we've got Democrat senators saying it's okay if this package adds to the deficit. $3.5 trillion added to the $30 trillion that we're already in debt. We already know at least one senator wants the top line number to be as much as $6 trillion, while others are calling for $2 to $3 trillion, which, by the way, is still too much spending. It doesn't seem like everyone has fully committed to this so-called agreement. It appears that Democrats are in disarray when it comes to agreeing to this, announcing that there's agreement when they still have members of their own party arguing over the final top-line number and how it's paid for. That's a pretty interesting strategy. Only thing I can guess is that the strategy is really to pull the wool over all of our eyes, trying to sell the agreement of a top-line number as a win is like anything that saying that you've won the game after the first snap. Folks, you have to play the game. You can't go by the first quarter results. You've got to play the entire game. Second, I can't understand why some of my colleagues across the aisle are still trying to sell this tax and spending bill as human and soft infrastructure. Most people never heard of that. I haven't been up here long, but I know enough to know that there's really no such thing as human and soft infrastructure. For some reason, we keep adding definitions to Webster's dictionary.
Conservative leaders have put lives at risk, ignored health experts. Aaron O'Toole would do the same to Canada. He opposed protection for frontline health workers, a typical conservative at the worst possible time.
It appears that our Democrat colleagues have once again duped a few members of the media. They can't stop parroting this human infrastructure phrase. Let's just call the package what it is. It's a spending plan on progressive social justice policies paid for by the American taxpayers by 30 tax increases. It has nothing to do with infrastructure. Even if they could define what infrastructure of the human and soft variety is, I know reckless tax and a spending spree is not as catchy as soft infrastructure, but at least it's accurate. But lastly, and this is the most important part, there are costs associated